Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So we just had the overnight figures for the finale for Doctor Who season 14, season 1, whatever they're calling it now. And I thought this was an interesting interview. So Russell T Davies, the showrunner, the writer, RTD, as I like to call him, the retarded, came out and admitted that the topics he writes about, quote, are being a gay man or being a queer person. So this isn't a bash on gay people or queer people, although at one point that was exactly the same thing. So I'm a bit confused by what that means now. But anyway, so this isn't to bash them, but it is to take a look, I guess, and see whether these kind of topics are broadly appealing to the mass market. Because I think the figures, which we'll take a look at here as well, say otherwise. Well, we know that they don't appeal to the mass market, and they don't appeal for a reason, because gay people don't want to be pandered to either. There's gay people that watch my channel. There's gay people that follow me on Twitter. They don't want to be pandered to, but a special kind of narcissist does, and that's RTD, the retarded. So we'll take a look at this. Do hit subscribe if you're new here, guys. Turn the bell notifications on. Let's take a look, shall we? This article is on That Park Place, and I'll leave it linked down below. But again, like I said, this isn't a bash on gay people. Again, whatever queer means, because that was at one point exactly the same thing as gay. But this isn't a bash on gay people. This is to say, yeah, you don't want to be pandered to very clearly, because if you did, there would be more people viewing. So anyway, and honestly, I'm sure there'll be gay people down below in the comments going, yeah, I'm gay, I don't want to be pandered to, blah blah blah, all this kind of stuff. So Doctor Who showrunner Russell T Davies recently admitted that the topics he writes about for television are, quote, being a gay man or being a queer person. He also goes on a really strange rant about the right wing. But it's comical because he knows what's coming. So let's take a look. So as reported by the Radio Times, Davies appeared at a BAFTA event called A Life in Pictures, Russell T Davies, where he stated, quote, it's not so much that there's unexplored topics, but the topics I do write about keep changing, like being a gay man or being a queer person in society is changing now. Right, so what he's saying is, and you'll see in a minute as well, is that broadly speaking, he's talking about the same thing as his life experience, which I will say this, that's not a good writer, that's creatively bankrupt. If you can only write about the things you've experienced in life, from your own perspective, that's myopic, it's blinkered, and yeah, it's not, you lack all creativity at that point. I'm telling my stories. Okay, cool, excellent. Other people aren't interested in that though. So, he continues, and I love this as well. This guy bangs on about this one bloody show he did 25 fucking years ago. Never stops talking about it. Queer as Folk. That's it. That's the show. Because that's the only show that he's done that has been incredibly well received. And I don't even think it was that well received. But I think it was the one he won accolades for. 10 years ago. Or even when we did Queer as Folk 25 years ago. We were on the up. It was like, good times are here. He's talking about being gay. Now they're absolutely not. Now I will say this, and I've said this before, and I've said this in comment sections, replies to people, is that the overt politicization of gayness, homosexuality, all this kind of stuff, to the degree that it is now, is detrimental to the cause of acceptance. And that's demonstrably true. You know, as this stuff has been pushed to the forefront in everything, because it is in everything, acceptance has gone down. People don't mind these things because people have, generally, broadly speaking, and it is broadly, can you find exceptions to the rule? Of course you can. But broadly speaking, people have the attitude of live and let live, right? As long as you're not hurting someone, you're in your, you know, you're in your house doing whatever you want. Cool, fine. Straight people don't actually want to see this stuff though. They don't, because it is the polar opposite to what they enjoy and how they live their life. And as that is the majority, because it is the majority, yeah, the acceptance does go down when it is in everything. You know, gay stuff in everything is very off-putting to the broad majority of people, and that's okay. That's absolutely that's natural, actually, to, you know, find that not necessarily offensive, but something you don't wish to partake in or watch all the time. But anyway, so it's good times are here now. Now they're absolutely not. Yeah, but you're partly the reason why good times are not here now. Russell T Davies, RTD, because you're putting it in everything you do. You are. That's why I did that spiel there. It's because he's quite literally the proponent of his own downfall. And he says that wave coming from America, where they're trying to have legislation banning drag queens, that's absolutely coming here. Good, it should come here. You should not have, especially some of the drag queens which you've seen in America and that you've seen here and their backgrounds and things like this. If you want to dress up, right, in that sort of way, which is fetish, it's a little bit of a fetish, I would imagine, for some of these people, majority, and talk to kids, no, it should come here. There should be a ban on it. There is absolutely things which are appropriate for children, and there are things which are not. If you want to be a drag queen and perform in front of adults, that's absolutely fine. Go do that. You can, as an adult, you can consent to that. A child cannot consent to this. They don't understand what's around them. You know, you were a child, I was a child, we were retarded, okay, we were dumb, we were morons. This is what it is. You know, people seem to forget how much of an absolute moron you were when you were a child. You're an imbecile. So I think that should come everywhere, quite frankly. Fucking look at this thing. Anyway, Davies then went on and says, we might get a Labour government in the next couple of years. We will get a Labour government. Actually, we will get one in this year. In a matter of a month, essentially. But that's what we will be getting. But look, he's right. But that just means we'll have a very right-wing government after that. Yes, we will. Good. Good. Because we haven't had a right-wing government in the UK for some time, and we do need it, because there has been demonstrable damage done to the country. They're all waiting. They've started the conversation in this country about banning abortion. Oh yes, there you go. Conversation about murdering things. Excellent, cool. It's started already amongst that right wing. I always find this. I studied philosophy and ethics, and I find the conversation to be quite an interesting one, because obviously there are different perspectives on sort of banning of these kind of things. But it is the go-to, isn't it? Because it's the most extreme. It is fascinating that they go to this as the argument, generally speaking, the most extreme possible things. And then when you say, okay, but you know, there's, I don't know, a history of individuals that have performed in front of children, for instance, that have, you know, a history of degenerate behaviour towards children. They go, blah, 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 blah. That's the small minority. It's like, okay, but if you want to play extreme arguments, you can't then be annoyed if people play the extreme on the defence with your argument. But he is right that we will be getting a right-wing government in the UK. So he says, so I think our rights are paper thin. Yes, they are. Your rights have been given to you by the government. Right? So rights are completely made up. So yes, your rights are paper thin. Absolutely they are. Yes. Exactly the same way you can just remove people's right to speak freely. That's something which you got, you know, the proponents of left-wing ideology love to do. So yes. It says the world is becoming unsafe. No, it's not. So I always will keep writing about that. I will always keep writing about male gayness if people will have me. Well, I hope they don't. Because it shouldn't be in everything. And the fact that it's everything you do becomes very boring. It's creatively bankrupt. So Davies then confirmed that his next show after Doctor Who will be focused on this. The world has changed. The world changes around you. So whatever I do next after Doctor Who, I hope, is about that. Absolutely. Because we're in a very strange world right now. Because you pushed way too far. You pushed way too far to the left. Way, way, way too far. And people, broadly speaking, are not massively left-wing. They like what they like, quite conservative in mind. That's what we need. So anyway, and it says this, these comments are unsurprising because Davies did tell Deadline that his job was to push transgender and queer stories. He says, I know as part of a rising tide of gay, lesbian and other writers, all of us contributing to the soaps and chipping in primetime dramas. All of us slowly and then rapidly increasing the visibility of queer characters on screen. Again, as that happened, what was on the decline? Acceptance. You are your own downfall. And I'm lucky that I was one that burst through and got that on screen. Anyway, like I said, I thought this was a more interesting conversation, because if we look at this, yeah, sure, there has been some more positive reviews lately. But broadly speaking, the reviews have been massively negative, which is why it's been so bad. In terms of, you know, the reception, the score is so bad. Production value, casting, representation are excellent. However, the quality of writing is extremely varied. Yep. Please ignore the blatant review bombing from those who are too close-minded to enjoy anything which takes risks and dares us to do something new. What's a risk about including gay stuff? I think this is funny. I'm new to the franchise, and for a first timer, I found it childish. The storylines are interesting but make no sense. The action was good but too rainbow for my taste. Yeah. I don't know, I just thought this was interesting. I mean, if you're going to write about something, it has to have an appeal. As a writer, you do want your work to be appreciated, surely. Otherwise, what's the point? And this stuff is not appreciated. 27%, pretty damn bad. Pretty damn bad. So there you go. That was the conversation. That's it. That's all I wanted to talk about. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, give the video a like. And if you want to help me keep the lights on, because we do get demonetized, because apparently just speaking your mind does that as well these days, support further via Patreon. Link is down below in the description box for as little as $5 or $10 a month. Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye-bye now.